Welcome to Storytelling Anime. Today, I will storytelling Sword Art Online Season 1. Enjoy. Sword Art Online has been officially released as the first VR MMORPG. Kirito, a beta tester of the game, returns to the world of Aincrad to meet a beginner named Klein to whom he teaches the basics. Later, as they try to log out, they find that they are trapped within the game. After being teleported back to the starting town, Kayaba Akihiko appears as the game master and tells them that he has purposely removed the logout button with the intention of having them clear all 100 floors. As Akihiko leaves, he reveals the players' true identities through a mirror that he placed in their inventory. Kirito leaves the starting town with only the thought of survival in mind because he knows that the rest of the beta testers will dry out the good hunting grounds. Before leaving, Kirito asks Klein to follow him, to which Klein declines, saying that he was going to wait for his friends in the starting city. By the end of the first month, 2,000 out of the initial 10,000 are dead, with the first floor yet to be cleared. By December 2nd, 2022, nearly a month after the beginning of the game, about 2,000 players had died, yet not even the first floor had been cleared. As the boss room was finally discovered, the first floor boss strategy meeting is held in Tobana, organized by a player named Diavel. During the meeting, Diavel urged the players to form parties. However, as Kirito did not have any acquaintances in the meeting, he formed a party with a loner girl named Asuna. A player named Kibu interrupted the meeting at that point, arguing that the beta testers in the meeting had to repay other players for abandoning them at the start of the game. However, a man named Agile revealed that beta testers had produced a strategy guide for all the players for free, thus allowing the meeting to resume peacefully. During the boss fight the next day, the battle flowed as planned under Diavel's command, until Diavel attempted to deal the finishing blow on the boss alone when it was gravely injured, when the boss suddenly changed its attack patterns differently than it had in the beta test, thus allowing it to defeat an unprepared Diavel in a single blow. After Diavel's death, Kirito defeated the boss with Asuna and Agile's help. However, in the aftermath of the battle, he was confronted by Kibu for being a beta tester, which created tension among the other players. To prevent the situation from spiraling into chaos, Kirito decided to act the role of a selfish beta tester to cause all the hatred for beta testers to be focused on himself, thus donning the title of beater, before leaving to the second floor. After 4 months inside the game, Kirito has reached well above level 40. After assisting a small group of players on a lower floor, Kirito is asked to join their guild, the Moonlit Black Cats. When asked about his level, Kirito lied and told them that he was around level 20. Kirito was told to train Sachi to use a one-handed sword. Eventually, Sachi confesses to Kirito that she is afraid of dying. Kirito promises her that he would never let her die. Sachi begins to sleep in Kirito's room because she felt safe. After days of leveling, the group had almost reached a level capable of fighting on the front lines. On June 12, 2023, Keita, the guild leader, decides that it was time to buy a small house to act as the guild's headquarters. While he was gone, the remaining party members decided to go into a higher level dungeon to surprise Keita with new items when he comes back. While in the dungeons, the group stumbles upon a hidden room that contained a treasure chest. Not heeding Kirito's warnings, the group opens the chest and triggers a trap. Kirito watches as all of the members die and especially feels guilty for Sachi's death. After learning of the news, Keita commits suicide by jumping off the side of the town. During Christmas, Argo the rat reveals to Kirito a special quest that yielded an item that could revive the dead. Kirito heads off to face Nicholas the renegade. He bumps into Klein and his guild and later the Holy Dragon Alliance. Klein tells Kirito to go face the boss while he held off the Holy Dragon Alliance. After defeating the boss, Kirito learns that the revival item only worked on a person within 10 seconds of their death. He gives the revival item to Klein and leaves to go sulk in his room. Suddenly, a recorder crystal shows up in his inventory. Upon activation, Sachi's voice tells Kirito to not blame himself for her death. She was glad that she had met him and that he had wanted to protect her. She then sings him, "Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer." before telling him to live on. Kirito finds a beast tamer named Silica, who just lost her familiar, Pina, and decides to help her recover it. On the way to the inn, he finds out that she's very famous, loved by some and hated by others. While explaining the procedure to recover Pina, he discovers someone eavesdropping on them. The next day, he helps Silica gain some levels on their way to the Numa flower needed to revive Pina. After they find the flower, they're ambushed by the Titan's Hand Guild, who want the flower. After Kirito explains his motives, he is attacked by the members of the guild, but he overwhelms them with his high level and finally sends them to prison. At the inn, he talks with Silica and they agree to meet in the real world, and Silica finally reincarnates Pina. Kirito is sleeping in the outskirts of a town and Asuna arrives to wake him up, but Asuna falls asleep and Kirito watches for her. To thank him, she invites him to dinner, but they hear a scream, just to discover someone was killed inside the safe area. They start investigating and find various clues, but nothing seems to explain how that man was killed, so they talk to Agile. After Agile tells them that the sword was made by a player called Grimlock, they talk to Yoko at a cafe, who tells them about her former guild, the Golden Apple. They decide that they must also talk to another member of the guild, Schmidt, and they invite him to Yoko's room in an inn. After a brief talk, Yoko loses her composure and near a window, she suddenly turns and falls with a dagger stabbed on her back. Kirito rushes to save her, but he only manages to see her disappear in polygons on the floor. After Yoko falls from the window, Kirito looks in the roof nearby and starts chasing a hooded player and tries to capture him, but the player teleports away. After dispatching Schmidt, they have dinner. Asuna made Kirito drop his sandwich, and when he sees it disappear, figures out everything. He realized that Yoko and Canes were alive and they were trying to trick Schmidt to make him confess what he did. They were ambushed by the Laughing Coffin top 3, but Kirito arrived just in time and saved them. Later, Asuna finds Grimlock and brings him to them to confess that he planned Griselda's murder. Schmidt and the others take Grimlock, leaving Kirito and Asuna alone. Before leaving, they see Griselda's ghost giving thanks to them. Looking for a sword that can rival his Elucidator, Kirito visits a shop run by Asuna's friend Lisbeth. During his visit, he proves that Lisbeth's strongest sword is not strong enough by accidentally breaking it. After a little chat, he and Lisbeth decide to look for a mysterious material that is said to be obtainable in a quest on floor 55. When they arrive, Kirito confronts a white dragon. However, Lisbeth is blown away, so Kirito jumps to save her, with both of them falling into a pit. Unable to get out, where they spend the night there. The next morning, Kirito finds the ingot they were looking for. When the dragon returns, Kirito takes Lisbeth and rides the dragon to outside the pit. On Lisbeth's shop, he gives the ingot to her, and she makes a new sword called Dark Repulsor. Before Lisbeth can express her feelings to Kirito, Asuna arrives and Lisbeth realizes that she is also in love with him. Lisbeth runs away to hide her feelings, but Kirito finds her and comforts her, promising that she'll be his exclusive blacksmith. Kirito gets a rare and very valuable ingredient. Since he can't cook it, he visits Agile and tries to sell it. During their conversation, Asuna arrives and tells them that she mastered the cooking skill. After Kirito shows her the rare ingredient, they depart to Asuna's home. After eating and chatting, Kirito leaves. The next day, Kirito is waiting, and suddenly Asuna appears, followed by her bodyguard, Kuradil, who was watching outside her house. The bodyguard tries to take Asuna back, but when he's stopped by Kirito, decides to challenge him to a duel. However, Kirito breaks his sword easily and wins the duel. A few hours later, Kirito and Asuna are fighting in the dungeon in floor 74. They arrive at the boss room and open the door. Kirito and Asuna enter the boss room to gather information, but after the starting sequence finishes, they run all the way back to the safe area, where they talk while having lunch. Klein enters the area with his guild, and after a brief talk, a squadron from the army too. They request the map info from Kirito, and he agrees. The army's squadron departs toward the boss room. Kirito and company follow them, but when they finally reach the boss room, the leader of the squadron is killed, and Asuna jumps in to save the others, so Kirito follows, giving time to Furinkazan to save the others. After some hesitation, Kirito decides to reveal his secret, and after 10 seconds of changing his equipment, he enters back to the fight with his dual blades equipped. Kirito defeats the Gleam Eyes by himself, but only at the edge of death. He faints for a few seconds. When he recovers consciousness, everybody is around him, and Asuna hugs him. Kirito explains about the dual blades decline and lets him activate the gate to the next floor. Asuna tells him that she'll take a break from her guild to be with Kirito. The next day, Kirito is hiding in Agile's shop when Asuna suddenly enters. In the Knights of Blood HQ, Kirito is challenged by their leader, Heathcliff, to decide Asuna's future. Kirito accepted the duel against Heathcliff, and they finally meet in a stadium on the 75th floor. It was an intense battle, but Kirito managed to find an opening in Heathcliff's moves. However, just as he was about to deal the finishing blow, Heathcliff moved at an impossible speed, blocking his attack and striking him instead. Having lost the duel, Kirito joined the guild and told Asuna about his time with the Moonlit Black Cats. She promises to protect him, and they head to the Cobb HQ where they learned that Godfrey was planning to take Kirito to a training in a dungeon on the 75th floor by Heathcliff's order. To his surprise, Kirito found out that Kuradil would accompany them. Along the way, the group stopped to rest and eat, but Kirito and Godfrey end up being paralyzed by a poison Kuradil put in the water. Kuradil then killed Godfrey and revealed that he was part of Laughing Coffin. Just as he was about to kill Kirito, Asuna appeared and easily reduced Kuradil's HP to the red zone. Kuradil then seemingly surrendered and begged for mercy, and, when Asuna lowered her guard, Kuradil tried to attack her. But then Kirito jumped in time and killed Kuradil with Embracer. Kirito then asked Asuna to spend the night together, to which she agreed. At Asuna's house, Kirito proposed to Asuna and she agreed. Kirito and Asuna talked to Heathcliff and he let them leave the guild for a while, but ordered them that they should return to the front lines soon. In their house in 22nd floor, Kirito asked Asuna if their love will only last as long as they're on the game, but she argued and told him that she'll look for him in the real world and will still love him. They spent time together in a forest until they found a girl who suddenly fell unconscious, which was the rumored ghost in the 22nd floor. She's no ghost, nor a player, nor even an NPC. They took her to their house and took care of her until she woke up. She claimed that she doesn't remember anything, aside from her name, Yui. She can't say Asuna and Kirito's name, and she called them Mama and Papa instead. They believe that she got separated from her family. They went to the town of beginnings to look for her parents, and for her to recover her memories. Instead, they find a young woman named Sasha and the children she's taking care of being harassed by the army for not paying the taxes. Asuna attacked their leader, and the soldiers ran away in fear. As Sasha and the children thanked her, Yui reached for the sky and kept saying, "Everyone's heart." Asuna rushed to Yui and asked if she remembered anything. Yui then tells Kirito and Asuna that she realizes she has never been to the town of beginnings before. Suddenly her eyes widened and mysterious static sounds spread out and affected everyone before Yui faints. Kirito, Yui and Asuna are in the first floor talking with Sasha about her duty taking care of the children and the recent events involving the army, when a member of such guild arrives. She presents herself as Yulia and explains everything that has happened as she asks for help to rescue Thinker, the real leader of the army, who was trapped in a high-level dungeon hidden in the first floor. They enter the dungeon and Kirito enjoys himself killing everything along his way until they are able to see the safe zone where Thinker was. But when Yulia was running towards it, she was attacked by the fatal scythe. Kirito and Asuna save her, but they nearly die when Yui saves them, destroying the monster. It is revealed that she is the mental health AI, and was driven insane by watching all the players' pain and doing nothing. She is about to be deleted by Aincrad's AI controller, Cardinal, when Kirito saves her into a small blue crystal. That's it all for today. See you in next episode's Storytelling Sword Art Online. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.